I am actually going to take this chocolate edible. And
There you go.
We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Preparation, I don't feel like it's that important.
No, because they don't go that hand in hand.
No, and I think we all know.
Yeah.
Generally, the story of Willy Wonka.
Yes, considering you guys did it on this show, pre-me.
That's true. Willy Wonka was the first episode of Retro versus Remake.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at that.
Yep, we did Willy Wonka and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. And the idea being like the concept of they keep remaking movies. Well, they did it again, so we can talk about it.
Although they didn't. It's not necessarily a remake.
Yeah,
but
this is interesting because it's not.
It's a retelling of how Wonka got his start.
Totally. Let me grab a drinksky and then we'll talk all about it. I'm a Dickensian hag.
I'm a Dickensian hag.
Hey there, running a scam there, Wonka.
Oh, Willy, you got such good chocolates, do ya?
Good chocolate.
I'm gonna be doing this for like 2 weeks. This voice.
It's
Willy Wonka with your Oompa Loompas running around.
It's not your fault, Daniel. I'm okay. Willy Wonka, you shall not sell chocolate.
You shall not sell chocolate here. Welcome to Retroverse Remake.
This is I guess that's what we do.
Yes, that's what we do. I was gonna start this podcast in just pure imagination, but there's no need.
I'll start this with a breakdown. A world famous chocolatier, sometimes, or actually, a chocolatier, a chocolatier destined for fame and fortune, encounters children that have dreams of a better world, and in this world of pure imagination, this chocolatier is able to make those dreams manifest. There's also a dark underbelly to that, and we learn that throughout all of the Wonkas, Charlie and the Chocolate Factories. Anything Roald Dhal did in relation to this particular chocolatier is on display in this episode of Retro versus Remake.
Retroverse Remake! I'm Dan Farley. You can find us at Retroverse Remake on Instagram, at Retroverse Remake on YouTube. Write, subscribe, like, whatever. That'll help us out. You can find me at Dan Farley 18 on Instagram, and then Jersey Dan 18 on X, and RP Comedy at both.
Yeah, that's right. RP
Comedy
on Instagram.
Yeah. I got a question. Why are we keep coming back to this well of chocolate? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Okay, I liked the movie too. It was on fucking Channel 11 when I was 7, when the Mets were ringed out. Great. I watched it a bunch of times. I loved it. It was fun. It was great. I don't... Why are we doing this? Why do we keep... Who...
So, I think that all starts in 1971, right? Like that.
Yes.
That's where all this started. In 1971,
killing children was vogue.
Mel Stewart, the director, had taken a popular Roald Dhal children's book.
What the hell was he doing?
Oh man, all kinds of craziness. I mean, this joint, James and Giant Peach, the Witches. He has.
It goes one after another. The schnozberries, the Jabberwocky. What? It's just ugh.
Yeah, that guy had
demons.
Demons that will call imagination. Yes, the writer Roald Dahl and David Seltzer, I guess, did the adaptation of the film in 1971. That film starring some fucking heavy hitters: Gene Wilder, Jack Albertson, who's great in that, Peter Ostrom, Roy Kinnear, Julie Dawn Cole, let's see, Leonard Stone and yeah, that's enough.
You know, the fat kid, the
kid,
the fat kid, the asshole, the TV guy. No,
TV Mike. Yeah, that was a good one. You know, they did it again, obviously, in 2005 with
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
That's right.
Which is Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, directed by Tim Burton, with the writing by John August. Again, that was Johnny Depp. Freddie Highmore played Charlie in that one. David Kelly, Helena Bonham Carter, because of course.
Of course.
Oh yeah, Mr. Taylor. Noah Taylor's Mr. Bucket was pretty fun. And that's it. You know, we're not we'll talk about that briefly, but the star of the show today is a 2023 Wonka. Not a remake.
Not really. No, not really.
Kind of
a retelling of
a prequel.
A prequel, yes. Maybe a prequel.
That synopsis is a little bit different. With dreams of opening a shop in the city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. This film was directed by Paul King. Of course, Roald Dhal still gets a writing credit because of the adaptation. With Paul King and others as writers, if they're calling them others, I'm not getting into them.
Others. The amount of indentured servitude in this movie, there should not be called fucking others.
This should be called Willy Wonka Escape from Slave Island.
Yeah, honestly.
That's what this movie should be called.
And somehow you feel more sympathy for him than the black child.
I know. Starring the ever handsome Timothy Chalamet. Murray. Well, no.
Ever handsome? I don't. Okay.
Yeah, people like him.
I get. They love him.
Like him.
My chick loves him. I don't get it.
Ah, man, hold up. I'm doing this.
He looks like he's 10. I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm doing this a different way because they did all these people out of sequence. So like in order of appearance, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Starring Timothy Chalamet, Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. They roped. This is the worst thing that ever happened to Hugh Grant.
I don't know. It looked like he was drinking. Those were real cocktails. I think that's how they got him.
No, I'm kidding. The worst thing is obviously that blowjob he got from that booker.
Oh yeah. Well, everybody was paid in chocolate. Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean himself, Olivia Colman, Kayla Lane, who was Noodle, Keegan-Michael Key, Tom Davis, and you know Patterson Joseph for playing Slugworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't do like the regular synopsis. I think we have to. We'll start with the synopsis of this film.
Okay.
And then work into the Wonka that we know.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically, Willy Wonka is introducing drugs into the community.
Yes.
Into what time? What country? I don't know. Could be 1910. Could be 1985. It doesn't matter, really. You have no idea what country it is because everyone is either from New York or London. Or they're like barons for like some German whatever.
Yeah, Bulgaria.
Yeah.
It's odd, right? Like you have this setting that like obviously purposefully it's kind of vague, right? Like where they are, like you said, it feels like London-esque. Is the closest thing I got.
But it could be Gotham City in Tim Burton's Batman. I don't know. Like, it could be either one. It's just brighter.
This might have been Gangs of New York.
It could have been Gangs of New York.
It's very possible.
And we said that this was a prequel. I think this is a prequel to The Wire. Like, personally, this movie.
Yeah, for all the weight Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he's pushing weight. That ain't just chocolate in there.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
Omar's coming.
Omar's coming. It's interesting because you have this Wonka who gets off a ship from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
He's got his iconic clothing and 12 sovereigns, you know, because it's also connected to Les Mis.
Yes.
So, you know, all the connections here. This actually feels closer to Les Mis.
Yes, it does.
But
it's definitely, like, I mean, we could talk about it further, and we'll get into the film, but the movie just feels like an allegory for the drug wars. Like, you have money, you have the United States government, I'm talking about specifically the United States, filtering in drugs.
Michael Keaton, New York accent.
Yes, of course. Filtering drugs, the cartels, filtering drugs into the poor communities, which are, you know, the common Londoners or whatever the hell this town is. Then here comes this upstart trying to make something out of himself, and he doesn't have a great jump shot, but damn, he's slinging that rock.
He's really slinging.
And then he brings up, he has 5 people that he's working in this indentured servitude with, that he can't get out of. It's impossible for him to rise above his station in life without selling this chocolate.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time. You got these people who are...
You have the orphan, so he's corrupting the youth.
Yep.
You have the accountant, so he's cooking the books, make sure that he's been watching Ozark.
Right.
He's making sure that everything's going right. Then he's got the telecommunications chick. He's got the plumber to flush everything down the streets, make sure everything's cool on the streets. And then he's got the comedian, which, let's be honest, is the lawyer.
Right. Like, this Wonka is dealing with, I guess he's, as they said in the film, temporarily embarrassed. This is not the stacking Wonka with the factory and the money and...
No.
Like...
He's broke as shit.
Nobody knows who he is. He's just a little upstart. A couple dollars in his pocket that he spends immediately. Within the first day of landing in wherever the hell they are, he's out of money. He takes up lodging with some unscrupulous,
unsavory.
Yeah, Scrubbits. The Scrubbit.
Well, the one woman's Scrubbit, and then the other guy's whatever his name is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he signs a contract because this Willy Wonka can't read. By the way.
Yes, he's illiterate. This is like if you took the story of American Gangster, who, by the way, I don't care what they make the movie out to be, the real guy couldn't read. Frank Lucas could not read. He was illiterate. Right. He knew that like $100,000 worth of money was, or like $1 million weighed like 500 pounds or something like that. So that's how he measured money.
Well, it's similar in that way, right? Because Wonka's like, I didn't have time to read. I dedicated my life to this chocolate game.
American Gangster, Willy Wonka. It's the same. We could have redone that movie.
Apparently we could have. Yeah. And then, we learn the story of, which we'll talk about more as we go on. But Willy Wonka's humble beginnings, how he shook up the world. He shook up the world. Yeah.
He's somehow master of this ship.
He
shows up on this ship to the shores of whatever town.
It was like David Copperfield-esque. It was just insane. Like how he comes up, like I said, doing magic tricks and stuff like that. Immediately becomes a slave, and then immediately is like, "Nah, I don't think so." Comes up with an elaborate scheme. It works.
Yeah, immediately.
His rivals try to take him down, and he says, "I got something for you," and he becomes the Wonka that we all know.
Yeah.
I guess somehow.
Our imagination. I will give it to that. Like we said, that Chalamet could sing.
He can sing.
He can sing.
Which, honestly, as annoying, like, I found, and I think we talked about this before, I found that, like, the Gene Wilder Wonka, like, I knew everything I need to know about the guy.
Yeah, you don't need to know anything else. Less is more.
It's a whimsical, like, mystery thing. And I feel like...
Is he a villain? Is he not? I don't know. And at the end, you kind of still don't know.
Exactly. Well, this Wonka, prequel Wonka is in the camp of a good guy.
Absolutely.
Now maybe he gets more jaded and fucked up over the years. It was kind of where you get to the Wilder part of it.
Yeah.
You also have the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from 2005. Was it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or was that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Charlie.
Confusing.
Willy Wonka was the original.
That's right. Yeah, you got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I think, the Tim Burton take on it, and again, it's not really a prequel.
That's a remake.
It's a remake.
But they show in all the other stuff with his father being a dentist.
Exactly. So, like, they build this backstory, and you're kind of seeing this almost like fractured psyche of the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka and how, like, I don't know, like, he has all these idiosyncrasies because of his upbringing and his unresolved stuff with his father, which is all ultimately kind of uninteresting because, like, at the end of the day, you just really care about the chocolate guy and not really how he became the chocolate guy.
The chocolate wizard. Let's talk about him.
He's literally the Wizard of Oz of chocolate.
Yeah, I don't need to know what his life is. Like, it's like, what do you really want to know what the I don't know, fucking the Emperor in Star Wars is? Like, you might actually be like, oh, I agree with this guy. Like, no, you just want to see him be the Emperor.
Totally.
It's like, oh, no, he's evil.
I'm gonna move this a little bit. I want you to frame a little bit more. What? Nope, that's the opposite. Cool. Yeah, like, you don't want to know who the Emperor is.
Yeah, you don't want to... Less is more. Like, it's like the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of don't want to... Like, the idea is that he could be anything.
You know what else is, like... Funny enough, like, in context now, the chocolate competition does sort of make a lot more sense now. Because, like, if this is the place where he got his start, you can't trust anybody.
No.
You can't trust anybody's town. There's corrupt police, there's cartels. It's like, all right, who can I trust since he didn't have children? Because he learned that lesson by having a kid. So I'm like, fucking take him out.
Yeah.
So they take the factory. You learned that from Noodle, I guess. It actually, like, makes sense that the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka would be like, I'm going to do a competition to find a pure-hearted person who's not, like, corrupted to pass on my legacy.
Yeah.
Like,
it does make sense.
Weirdly enough, this movie somehow makes that make sense. But, yeah, I'm actually giving it way more credit.
Yeah,
than it deserves.
I will say this, like, as much as I'm screaming a bit whatever about this, I wish I weren't as cynical as I was. Because it is kind of whimsical. Yeah. The only thing is, I don't know who this movie's for.
That's the real question.
Like, who? Like, I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm too old to enjoy it.
Right.
And, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. And then, that's who knows Willy Wonka, or people my age. Like, kids don't know that. Kids don't give a shit.
This feels kind of like, that Grinch remake that you didn't really watch. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I loved it. I watched it since, and I loved it. And I did it.
It is for people our age that have had children who are now dragging their kids to watch, like,
so they can enjoy it,
right?
But they don't feel guilty about doing it.
Correct, because like the kid's there, so like, and then Timothy Chalamet. I mean, of all the people in Hollywood now, I guess he sort of makes the most sense to do this.
Sure.
Especially considering which is what we definitely have to talk about. Is there music in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Sure.
Yeah.
Is it a musical? No.
No.
This is a musical.
There's only one other person that should have been Willy Wonka, and I think we all know. Mm-hmm. Gary Busey. Let's give it to Gary Busey. Just.
I was going with James Woods.
Okay, James Woods. We can do James Woods. I'll take. If Busey passes.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll do James Woods.
That's fair.
Motherfucker.
We're kind of jumping right into it. Like, in 71, you've got Gene Wilder, who
was phenomenal.
He's the definitive.
That's
Willy Wonka, right? That's.
How did you like the Chocolate Factory, Charlie?
I know.
That's the problem with keeping making these movies.
Yeah, it's like, why? You're not going to get better than that.
We nailed it.
Yeah, it's like he nailed it.
Even like you were saying before that, the mystery of Gene Wilder's character, like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What you get with, like, I was kind of alluding to it before, but like the little cane walkout scene, and
where he insisted on that being in the movie.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, because then you're not going to know whether you could trust this guy or not for the rest of the movie.
And you don't trust him. Even like you said, even when he flips, you won, Charlie. You've done it. Like, it's like, all right, like, we're all.
What's waiting here?
Right. And part of that is because this man is willing to let children. Oh no, please.
Yeah, please. Exactly. He doesn't care.
Right.
He's like, if they die, they die. He's giving them the Ivan Drago.
But again, in the context of the Chalamet Wonka, Timothy Chalamet plays Wonka in 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all. My name is Willy Wonka.
We didn't establish that.
Just so you know. Who, again, is, because it serves as a bit of a prequel, is very optimistic. He's got a dream. We're not as focused on the father, like in the Chocolate Factory movie. We're focused on his mother, who is
some Irish misfit.
Yeah.
Oh, there, Charlie!
Hey, the potato famine.
The potato famine killed us all. I had to resort to prostitution. Would you like a chocolate? No, not that chocolate.
They lived on, like,
a boat?
Some sort of, like, river boat? I don't know.
And it was like an open boat, so that means it was warm climate, so I would assume, like, South America?
Bad for chocolate.
Yeah.
Although the beans, you need the cocoa beans.
Yeah. South America? Africa? I don't know.
Who knows? You're not supposed to know where anything is, or who anybody is, what their origin are. Like,
yes. And the Oompa Loompas just keep getting smaller.
They get smaller and smaller. Yeah.
Just depriving people of solid little people actors of good roles that they could have possibly used. And here comes Hugh Grant with CGI.
Hugh Grant, Oompa Loompa. I was It was just like, okay, like it didn't make sense. It did not make sense. It was just like, okay.
I don't understand the ending. I don't understand the ending to it. Why would they join a partnership?
Yeah, so in this scenario, right, like kind of...
He paid him back. It's done.
Right.
He gets to go back to his home. Instead, he becomes a indentured servant with his friends to Willy Wonka.
Right. So...
Does he need a head taster?
To kind of like come back, because like again, because
sorry, we're jumping all over.
No, it's
the
okay,
here, guys.
No, it's fine. I think I've got the through line because it is confusing. Like, which again is part of the reason we argue you don't need Willy Wonka's background.
Absolutely,
because it's irrelevant. Now, what's interesting is 2023 is a movie all about Willy Wonka's background.
Yes.
There is no factory, which
but it's like a fever dream background.
It is a fever dream. It's this like. Is careless the right word? Like just this guy who's willing to throw caution to the wind and do anything at a whim. Like,
yeah.
And you learn that in the first song. Like, again, we didn't do enough research to tell you the name of the songs. But he's got 12 sovereigns.
We can't afford the rights.
Yeah, we really can't. YouTube, it won't happen. he has 12 sovereigns in his pocket, so he's got like 12 coins that are basically his life's fortune at this point, which is nothing. He goes around town, and within one day, he spent all of his money. But he's so optimistic, he's like, that's okay, because I'm going to make my fortune tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, he's so confident in the chocolate, and it turns out he should be this confident.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to be rich.
Yeah, because he's slinging that crack rock.
Yeah.
He knows what he's got.
And when that happens, when he spends his last sovereign on a mother and...
A poor baby.
And a poor baby in the street, who probably just another scammer. It might be part of the chocolate cartel.
They should really.
You know? He gets involved with who's the actress? It was
Olivia
Colman.
Olivia Colman, yeah.
Yeah, Olivia Colman's Mrs. Scrubbit, who has a entrepreneurial contract because he doesn't have money to stay somewhere. So she's like, you could stay at my place of lodging for one sovereign, not that much money, and just sign this contract with a bunch of terms and conditions that he definitely doesn't read
because he can't read.
He can't read, which is what we learn about this Wonka.
Yes, and she pulls an you know it's coming is like the innkeeper from Les Mis that you know it's gonna be like, ooh, well you're gonna get charged something, charge it for the lice, extra for the mice.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess this is an interesting place to introduce these two characters. In 1971, right, like the precocious kid that we follow, you know, the Charlie Bucket of this film is Peter Ostrom plays Charlie Bucket in the original movie.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
And you know, like we'll obviously talk about him, but like, yeah, he's a kid. He's like a typical kid who has faith in this Wonka figure, and it becomes disillusioned.
Quite disillusioned
because of Wonka. Versus in 2023, you've got Kayla Lane who plays Noodle.
The best chocolate in the world.
Noodle.
An orphan black girl that is enslaved by Mrs. Scrubbit.
That's right.
And forced to stay in a chicken coop from time to time as a form of punishment.
Yes.
She's trying to warn Timothée Chalamet's Wonka not to sign the entrepreneur contract.
Yes.
He can't read, so he signs the contract, and now he's a slave.
Yes. Yes, and then when their servitude, they have to work in the laundry.
Mm-hmm. Scrub, 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 scrub. It's a song about scrubbing.
Yes. Everything. It's like, you remember that Simpsons episode where they go to New York and they have the Broadway musical about the Betty Ford clinic. That's what this. It's like just so forced.
Yeah.
That's what this. It all feels like a forced Broadway play. It's like scrub, 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 scrub.
Yeah, no, this actually, you know, without really rating the movie right now, this would have served better as like some kind of Broadway.
Absolutely, it would have been.
I don't know if as a movie this makes
it doesn't
a lot of sense.
But also, I don't like they do all these moves and these dances and stuff. Like Gene Kelly would be like, "This is disgusting."
Yeah. Well, you know,
I actually did mine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you knew you were in for it because like that musical shit started happening. Like someone's hitting the typewriter. Next thing you know, that's the backbeat of the song. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you start scrubbing something. Scrub, 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 and they do like every musical trope you could think of.
Yes,
happens here. Speaking of Gene Kelly, I mean when they're dancing on the table, like Stealing his moves.
Or he
stealing Wonka's moves.
He swings down on the. I saw it like in the first scene. He swings down around the street light.
Oh, the street light thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like swinging around, but he's clearly like it's CGI.
There's a lot of CGI in this movie.
Yeah, I'm like, Gene Kelly just actually did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of CGI.
A lot. Like the giraffe.
The giraffe, the
dog.
Pretty much any chocolate. Like the chocolate is like all so whimsical.
Yeah.
Even more, like in a lot of ways, even more so than in the Gene Wilder movie.
Yeah.
Like fizzy lifting drink or whatever. Yeah, you lift, but like this chocolate is like, I don't want to say anthropomorphic, but like the chocolate like dances and flies.
Yeah.
And it's very like
it spells out the W in Wonka and.
It's like this really whimsical movie, kind of like breaking down Timothée Chalamet character in total. It's almost like it's almost like the opposite of Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory in this sense that like Charlie Bucket is ultra optimistic, becomes disillusioned, and then kind of brings it back. But like. Optimism to delusion because of Willy Wonka's behavior, and ultimately there's a redemption. Noodle, pessimist. Like, she's in the worst possible situation.
Yes.
Who learns optimism from this illiterate chocolate slinger. You know what I mean? And in a kind of different way, like, this optimistic Wonka becomes more, like, jaded and disillusioned.
But does he?
Well, like, in that one moment where he's like, I'm going to give it all up to save my friends, he's like...
I guess.
Because, like... So, to understand Timothée Chalamet's Wonka is to understand that his relationship with his mother is the most important thing to him, but she is no longer with him. Like, she died. But,
does she die? I guess.
I assume she died.
Yeah.
I don't really...
Because she just disappeared.
Yeah, she disappeared, and she didn't finish telling him the secret of chocolate. Like, all the rich chocolate cartels in the world don't know the one truth about chocolate. And he doesn't know what that secret is, but he knows that his mother made a pinky promise to him that when he's selling chocolate and he's in that space, that she will return to him.
And
be beside him.
Yes. Never tells him that that she's going to tell him what the secret is, though.
Right, but like, there's this arrested development to this Wonka.
He is a child at heart. He is a whimsical child.
Right, which is why like his literacy is unimportant to him. Like, no matter what happens, and a lot of things happen to him. Like he almost gets eaten. Like he's beaten in the streets. But like he's got this one kind of North Star guiding light: is that as long as I keep selling this chocolate, when I reach my dream, this is a movie about dreams ultimately, imagination. He's like, if I reach my dreams, then the truth will be revealed.
Yes, I'll be able to see my mother.
Right. Versus Noodle, who's a realist, who's like, I am a slave.
Yes, I want to die.
And here are 5 other slaves that... But there's a song where we get introduced to other people that were enslaved by Mr. Scrubber, if I'm skipping things.
I broke down who they were.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the lawyer, the accountant, the comedian,
the plumber, the telephone lady,
the telephone lady,
the telephone operator, and then Noodle.
Which kind of speaking of like tropes in like in film, there's a part where the woman who's the telecommunications person speaks, what I guess assuming for the first time, and everyone in the movie reacts to it, and we didn't because it was like, oh, I didn't realize she wasn't speaking or doing anything in the film because you hadn't introduced it.
Yeah.
What?
Like, I was speaking all the time.
You've seen it 100 times in 1,000 movies.
And you just, okay.
Just quiet characters talking. Man. Jay and Silent Bob do it.
Jay and Silent Bob. The Tiny Tim. Mm-hmm. The kid in Scrooge.
God bless us. Yeah, the kid in Scrooge.
Everyone. Yeah, and Silent Bob does it in every movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, kind of keeping on track here. Like, when he's confronted, this Wonka is confronted with all of life's challenges. More and more, like, it's not so, like, more and more he becomes a little more, his path is a little more fraught. Like, the dream isn't working out exactly the way he thinks it's supposed to. Possibly because Keegan-Michael Key is a corrupt policeman.
Yes.
That's helping the chocolate cartel, run by Slugsworth.
Run by Slugsworth, and then the other guys, and then Fat Hitler, and then, and then other guy who's, I don't know, also a Nazi poster boy. Yeah. But and then he's also being paid in chocolate. Right. So the gag is that he constantly, every time you see him, since he's eating so much chocolate, he's just getting bigger and bigger. It's a bad gag. Yeah. Keegan-Michael Key, like fat suit or whatever they're doing. Yeah. It's so like I guess here's the problem that I have with that like idea, right? You're doing one of these like whimsical, believe in yourself, everybody's important movies. Like, hey, just because this kid's a street urchin doesn't mean she can't be more. And it turns out she is more, right? Like, you got this guy who's like ever optimistic, and then the movie's just sitting in this like fat joke. Yeah. For forever, I'm like, well, I guess it's cool for everybody, but fat people? Like, I'm confused. Like, it to me didn't fit the. Also, it's kind of like a thing like that. He's corrupt, so it's okay for him to be fat. Yeah. And like it's like, wait, what? Like that's not. Like that's not it. Yeah, it's a little weird. Like you deserve your punishment. It's like that's a punishment to be fat. But I guess maybe that's true. Maybe they had to keep like a fat joke because of Augustus Gloop. Like I don't know. I guess. I mean, granted, if you eat enough chocolate, I mean. Sure. It's not a good thing to be eating. I mean, they implied that he ate 1,800 bars of chocolate. Yes, that's true. But in like a week and a half, he put on 150 pounds. That was pretty insane. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. I mean, you need to see a doctor, dude. Yeah. Although I don't know what the doctor in this time period would do. He probably would have got caught up in a indentured servitude scam. There is no doctor in town. There is no doctor. That's why everyone's flying. They would have like just ripped off his foot. Mm-hmm. They definitely lean into like magic more with this Willy Wonka too. Yes, like he's borderline. I mean, he is in a lot of ways. He is a magician, which I guess explains the top hat and the coat and the cane and stuff. But like yeah, they do a lot of gags with the cane standing still. Yeah, and, like doing stuff. Like a scarecrow. Yes. Yeah, it's So like if you saw this almost that gag with the cane, which is phenomenal, and it almost underplays. It does underplay because the way, like, if you know that existed, then it wouldn't be as good. So it's almost like knowing that, like, watching all of the Star Wars prequels first. Right. This is the second reference to Star Wars I'm making. That's fair. But knowing that, like, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Spoiler alert. Right. He it's like knowing that. If you knew that, like that moment doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, like you said, the cane scene, we don't know how magical Willy Wonka is at that point. Like, we really don't know a lot about this chocolatier at that point in the film. And then when you're touring effectively the factory, you're like, wait a minute, this is like a magic fun house of some sort. This Wonka, House of Horrors. Yeah, that too. Yeah, all the children, so many children dying. Rivers of chocolate, pools of chocolate. It's like H.H. Holmes. The horror. This horror castle. Because the prequel now is like showing you a lot of this magic. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of what we like about the original Gene Wilder film is like the mystery and like trying to figure it out. Yeah, along the way. And I think that's that's also like a part of the allure of Willy Wonka in the movie is that he was such a recluse and you didn't know what he was doing. Right. Like all you knew is this chocolate was delicious. Right. That's it. That's all you knew. And then so it's like you got to be like no one got to go in the factory. Right. No one knew what the factory looked like. Right. So and creating this entire like a worldwide phenomenon. We can go see the factory. Yeah. How's he making this crazy chocolate? Exactly. You know? But in this one, he's like P.T. Barnum. He's very much P.T. Barnum. And I think in a lot of ways, like, they play it up. Again, kind of going back to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they lean into, like, his travels a lot in that film as well. But then, like I was saying that when we watched it, was that you fast forward in your head to automatically when Charlie gets control of this chocolate factory. He's not that showman. No, he's not. This company's doomed. If he doesn't, like, if this guy's not in charge.
Yeah.
If it's like Succession. Who's gonna take over?
Oh shit! You said Showman. Like, honestly, if we watched this movie or The Greatest Showman, I couldn't tell you the difference.
Me neither.
Musical.
Didn't we watch it? Got a top hat.
Top hat.
He kind of runs a circus. Yep. Lady had a beard.
Totally. Yeah. Same movie.
Same movie.
It's kind of funny too. Like, it kind of he flips it, right? Because like everyone has their own hang up. Like they've been, they're indebted to someone or like shackled to some circumstance because of like the things that happen in their life. And then in a weird way, Wonka kind of flips that because like again, if we see later Wonka his Oompa Loompa connection, like who he's willing to employ and pay, like did he take all the bad parts of that business and say, "Oh, I'm stealing this"?
Yes,
because like
he did. He implemented it because those people weren't getting. How much did they get paid? The people that helped him out.
They weren't getting paid much
because they don't work for him at the end.
Well, Tom Davis, I think is the guy who played like the big, Miss Scrubbett's like love interest at some point. Because there's a lot of like callbacks and allusions, like a lot of remakes do. If you see the whistle he has when he's bringing them to work, that's the Willy Wonka whistle that he uses for like the Oompa Loompas and stuff like that. So like, that's a weird parallel. Like this guy who enslaved Willy Wonka basically has this whistle that he does roll call and starts the factory work for today. And then Wonka's like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's mine now.
I'm gonna use that.
This movie's an allegory for the 1%.
He must have finessed that Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
Because like you're right, they were business partners. They were like on the same level.
Yeah,
and by the time 19,
now they're doing all this shit work.
It's insane.
I don't think so.
But then, you know what? It kind of makes sense though, because if you think about it, the Hugh Grant Oompa Loompa is an outcast. He was shunned and exiled by his brothers. Maybe he went back and was like, "Yo, why don't you sign the entrepreneur contract?"
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So by the way, I think this movie's perfect. That
Lucas
we're doing
Revenge.
this. We're doing this movie in Black History Month, by the way.
Actually, they had to change a lot of the Oompa Loompa, let's say, descriptors.
Yes, I'm sure.
Roald Dahl, some of his stuff didn't age as well. And
what are you talking about?
The Oompa Loompas were originally just like African.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
I guess what people, I don't know if this is PC anymore, but like what people call like pygmies, effectively.
Pygmies.
That they then
Wow.
A lot of brown faces, a lot of loincloths in the original.
Well,
black, orange
with green hair.
Yep.
Let's make them Irish.
It's different.
Little people.
You're the funny little man who's been following me.
Funny little man? How dare you? I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Tura-lora-lora.
God. I don't know. Like, I know it's so fun to kind of jump around with these different concepts.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, they're not, I mean, they're connected, but like they're not in a lot of ways. Like the movies are very different.
Yes. I mean, I wish that, I would love to write like a cultural like college thesis on both of these.
Yes.
This is what like.
Yeah, I agree.
Then it'd be like, well, this is what this determines about our current system of capitalism.
Right. I mean, like that's part of it. It is an allegory in a lot of ways. Whereas I think the first one is like is about kind of like remembering youth and imagination and like living, because like we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives as adults that like we forget about that joy in youth or whatever. Like this film that's definitely part of Wonka 2023, but there's also like you said, the capitalism angle. Like he's being shut out from doing business by rivals who are working hand in hand with like the state and authority in a corrupt manner, and the church. The church is involved. This is a corrupt. I use the word I'm going to use again. Dickensian time, land without time. I have no idea what time it is, and like this guy shakes up the whole system.
Yeah, and they make the whole rule that he goes on the underground to do it because they make him a rule that he he can't sell chocolate without a store, but he can't get a store without selling chocolate.
Right.
So
Right.
by doing that, that's how he get that. Which is also how close is that to you can't get a job without experience, but
Right.
you can't get experience without the job.
That's right.
So
that's right. And I guess what's consistent across the board with all the Wonkas is like if you look at Charlie Bucket's family and his grandfather in the first film.
Lying prick.
He's a lying prick. I'm so sick. Can't get
Grandpa
up.
Joe.
Grandpa
Can't get up.
Can't get up.
Can't get up. Can't help the family out. I'm so sick. So what? You going to the chocolate factory? Let's get out of here.
I used to work at that chocolate factory.
Yeah.
Fucking Jack Albertson's Grandpa Joe. So good. The
singing and dancing.
Yeah, like how do I put it? What I'm trying to say is Charlie Bucket in a lot of ways is Willy Wonka. If you look at the origin, right? Like a youth with unfortunate circumstances that has like an unflinching belief in something greater than himself, who has to then take that belief system out into the world, have it tested, and ultimately see if he's going to come out the other side jaded like the rest of the world or this magical kind of being.
So the hero's journey is
what's happening here. Why I bring that up is that like there's a similar effect, like the Grandpa Joe liar, getting out of bed and not being like disabled or whatever he was anymore. This Wonka's doing that same thing in this town, like in mass. Like he's changing people's lives, presumably for the better. We don't really know that. We don't sit there long enough. But like, there's the random guy at one point who like the girl's like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. And he's like, yo, take this chocolate, man. Take this chocolate direct.
Yeah. Yo, come on.
Yo, you'll get bitches, dog.
First one's free.
The first one's free.
First one's free.
The next one, not so much.
Did you? By the way, when that was happening, have you ever seen that thing? It's not been on the internet. It was like this in like 1895. This man traveled around like Barnum and Bailey Circus, and he was like he was the heaviest man that ever lived at the time. And he was like 256 pounds or something like that. He was just sitting there. He's like a chubby guy, but it's like, man, I've seen fatter guys like 4 today. Yeah. Like, especially and it's because of shit like this. Yeah. Like, it's
100%. Yeah. It's that P.T. Barnum parallel. It's perfect actually.
Yeah. Just like, wow, that guy's not it.
And like, I guess we got to talk about Noodle.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Noodle. Like I mentioned,
is that her acting?
Yeah. Well, people act, but like
she could sing though. She was a great singer.
Well, that's usually what happens, right? Like you get a good singer who's a bad actor, great actor.
I don't want to say she's a bad actor because she's a kid.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like if there's a weak point in this movie, it's
a little flat.
Yeah, it's a little flat.
Like some of the other supporting cast were pretty weak.
Yeah, it's not. If you're going in to see this to see like an Oscar caliber acting, I mean, you're in for some sad disappointment. But
can I say that like
yes, you can. Go ahead.
Disappointment is a word that comes out in my head because like what I pictured this film to be is not what I got. I think by the end I like made my peace with Wonka 2023, is what I'm gonna call it forever.
Yeah.
But like I was looking for more of a. I started the factory. Here's the factory. Like
I got a business loan.
Yeah. They went like so far back. They were like, and then here's when I learned to read.
Yeah, but then I learned how to read. And then it's like you own a business, man.
Yeah.
But then the part that you wanted to see was the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Like I had it in my head that Timothy Chalamet. So, okay, here's my disappointment. It's a prequel, and it is an incomplete Wonka. Talking about the hero's journey, right? So, like, we have the beginning of Wonka, but he's not quite Wonka yet.
Yes.
All the bones are there, but, like, he's not finished. Gene Wilder, I have a finished Wonka.
It's like, why would I don't need to go
like
back.
the finished product.
I know, exactly. That's not the problem.
You did it, Charlie. You did it. And, like, he never gets to be fully realized as Wonka until the end. And at that point, he's done so many fantastic things. And I'm not going to lie, like, they portray that pretty well. But, like, then I didn't care about the factory.
Yeah.
Which is really the only thing I cared about from the jump. I was like, I can't wait to see how a modern movie does the Wonka factory with Timothée Chalamet as Wonka. And I did not get that.
Yeah.
I got literally the Tiny Tim,
Yeah.
like Scrooge.
And then it's just all like Ex Machina.
It felt like Les Mis.
Yeah. And then and then the whole thing is just like, so it's like, do you want me to believe this? Like the stakes of this or not? Like, and so you get into like, oh, this is the last batch of chocolate I can make. But except for this next batch and this next batch.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how many can you make?
Yeah.
Like how are you making this chocolate?
Well,
by the way, and he gets milk from a giraffe, which
Yes.
okay. Whatever. I mean,
I knew we were in for it though. At the beginning of the movie, when he takes the hat off and he pulls like
of course,
cups and shit out, I was like, oh,
yeah.
He's like, because he's telling a song. That's the thing, right? Like you said, the stakes. He's doing a song about losing all his money.
Yeah.
And like being in a vulnerable place. But the very next thing he does is like, oh, I don't have any money, and he pulls out this hat where apparently he can grab an alarm clock, already hot tea kettle,
Yeah.
A glass, food and drink. Like he's so magical. They're like, yeah, money is irrelevant to this man, which almost makes it crazy that he even wants the factory in the first place, because it seems so irrelevant. But like, I guess because he's chasing this dream of his dead mother, that like he thinks that like, wow, that's crazy. You're talking about a college thesis of this. This is his child's bastardized version of capitalism.
Yeah.
The factory, he doesn't care about the money. He's like, this represents my mom.
Of course.
I can buy happiness. I can make my mother come back.
Edible.
Through edibles. Effective edibles.
No, I mean,
you mean this thing that took? Yeah,
the edible, the edible complex.
Edible.
Edible complex.
Yeah, no.
No, that's, you want to kill your father to obtain your mother. That's what he wants to obtain his mother. Like, he wants to obtain the happiness that his mother brought him.
You know what's crazy? Actually, speaking of edibles and
Edibles.
Coming back here, this is how powerful Willy Wonka, the character, is. I started that about Noodle and just kept talking about Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
So
Noodle, I mean, it's like she's an orphan.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing though, but she's not, right? Like, that's crazy, right? That like Noodle, which by the way, we never learn her real name, and that's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
She's forever Noodle. Is this girl who, similar to Wonka, is in this circumstance with the Scrubbits. Even more so, she was orphaned. She has no relation to the real world. She doesn't know who her parents are, right? At least everybody else that's a slave is like, I used to be an accountant.
Yeah.
But then you find out, spoilers if you don't want to know how the movie ends, skip for about 2 minutes probably. But like, you have this Noodle who actually turns out that she's in the Slugsworth family tree.
Yeah.
She's Slugsworth's brother's daughter. So
Yeah.
that's his niece.
Right?
There's words for these.
Who his mother, her mother, after her father died? Right?
Died,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
his unmarried father.
father.
I wanted to bring that in because
the bastard child showed up at Slugsworth's door, and he asked her to take care of her. And
because she was sick.
Because she was sick. Yeah. So instead of taking care of her, he dumped her down a laundry chute and told her mother she was dead. Because by all rights, she should be.
Oh, and then he dropped like
a bunch of money in front of her.
It was very
and
like
called
a
the
Judas
police.
Jesus thing.
Yeah, they called the police.
Yeah,
because
13 pieces of silver, I believe.
Get out of here.
Because of the connection with the church, by the way.
Of course.
Every allegory. Sorry.
Yes. No, I mean, that's her story, and that's what she comes from. And she doesn't know that until later in the movie.
Much later in the movie, and to a point where it actually doesn't even matter anymore. Because, like, I have to assume, right, because they, like, the accountant's all there, that actually, in a roundabout way, this is very good for her, taking over the Slugsworth kind of estate, as it were. Like, she is entitled to a portion of that business. But kind of bad for her. Maybe this is the Willy Wonka long play, because I actually do believe this Wonka is actually evil versus Gene Wilder, and Gene Wilder has to go through the entire redemption arc to become uneven. And here's why I say that. He has just more or less revealed the chocolate cartel's entire plot. Right?
Yeah.
making Slugsworth now legally indebted. Like, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits and things like that. Slugsworth probably going to have to go bankrupt.
Jail, for sure.
For sure, jail.
He tries to murder them.
For sure, jail. And, by the way, Wonka's chocolate is so superior that Slugsworth's company is effectively close to worthless now anyway. He just revealed to this little orphan that, I guess, what looks like a windfall, she's actually indebted to Willy Wonka for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
It's a long play.
It's a long
play.
Oh, it's... God,
Because Slugsworth, it ain't worth what it used to.
No,
Slugs ain't slugging.
That ain't slugging. That's like, oh, damn.
But, sorry, to go that long way about, like, right, like, I think what I was trying to say about Noodle originally before all of that is that Charlie Bucket, the equivalent in 71, is optimistic, becomes disillusioned. Noodle is disillusioned, becomes optimistic. And ultimately, it doesn't matter anyway because they both land in the same place. Ultimately, but like it's interesting how they kind of flip that dynamic. If you want to really break it down and get a little analytical, of how Wonka is redeeming Noodle.
Yeah.
Like, that's her redemption arc. Not that she needs a redemption arc, but, like, he is her road to salvation. Charlie is Wonka's road to salvation.
Yes. Okay.
You know?
I see what
so
you're
it's kind of flipped in that way.
So he's the bridge between the two of them.
Yes. This kid...
It's interesting.
Yeah, you know. Again, I may be giving this more than it's given.
I think we are, no.
But, I don't know.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I just... Going back to this, though, like, I think what we were trying to say is why? Why
did this movie? So I guess that would be the answer to this. Should it be made? No.
No, right? Because, like, I don't think I wanted a Willy Wonka musical.
Who needs it? I don't...
you know?
I don't know who this is for.
No, but it's, like, a bad film.
It wasn't awful. Like, it was just kind of, like, why?
You made a good point when we were watching it, where you said that, like, I wish I wasn't so cynical or jaded about this, right? Like, but, like, of course you are, because this is, like, the nature of, like, a bad remake of, like, this is the cash grab remake.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
right?
It's pure, like, it's all... Like, the whole thing is the allure of who's Willy Wonka. Yeah. It's like, like I said, the Joker.
Yeah. The heart's out of it. Like, it's a movie about heart that, like, is now just a movie about let's make some cash. Because, like, people are going to go see... I mean, look, they got some off me. I bought it today.
Yeah.
That wasn't cheap, either.
No.
But, yeah, like... I just think that, ultimately, I guess... I would like to see something like this as a theater production, actually.
Yeah, it might be more interesting.
But I didn't ask for this movie. And even when I, like, thought that I was asking for it, I didn't ask for what the actual product was. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a prequel I don't want, kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But, hey, I like Timothy Chalamet, kind of like before. Like, I like Johnny Depp. So even though it's a prequel I'm not asking for, I like the person. But then the way they filmed it, or, like, making it a musical, I was like, oh, like we were saying before, this No Man's Land, we don't want to see it.
Yeah.
A kid doesn't want to see it.
A kid doesn't want to see it. I don't...
So,
like, I don't know who this is for.
Why did we do it?
Yeah, and it just doesn't... And just don't even bother. Like, the first one, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
But I just, like, I don't understand this whole mythos around Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Right.
That, like, people, like, oh, I need more. Like, no, you don't.
No, I mean...
It was enough. The first one was fine. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. It's a children's book, right?
It's a children's book.
And...
with, like, some adult themes in
it.
But...
And it's cool to have, like, the Hollywood machine make these sets and, like, factories and stuff like that. It's interesting to see, like, this one guy's wild imaginations and drawings translated into, like, film. But we've done this 3 times now?
Yeah, 3.
And we did it right once.
Yeah, once. That's all.
The first time.
Without, like, CGI, too.
The first time they got it.
Yeah.
And then we keep doing it, and, like, the product is becoming, I'm saying worse, but, like, yeah, actually, yes, worse.
It's watered down.
Because Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is bad for different reasons. This is, like, I'm not mad at anyone in the cast, per se. Like, I actually think that, like, their performances overall were, like, I actually came around on the movie a little bit towards the end. Maybe because just the arc of a musical, really.
Yeah.
Like that soaring.
Yeah, and I love a musical.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
like I don't like. I mean, it's not like I dislike Timothée Chalamet now. Like,
No.
in a lot of ways, I actually respect him in some ways more.
I would almost respect if it was anything else but
Yeah.
Wonka. Like, if
Right.
it was on, I don't know. It's just like, why do we have to do like it?
Yeah.
It's like you could have done anything with this, and you just slapped a Wonka thing on it. And be like, yeah, because that'll sell.
Yeah, that's the point. They're like, you couldn't get into it because of the source material.
And also, I'm an adult.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
too. Yeah, it was a little.
Yeah, it was like,
It was a little hokey at times.
yeah, you're like, okay, I bet this is coming back.
I guess that's another criticism of the film is that, like you mentioned, the adult themes in the original, like they're there, right? This is so overall optimistic that like it feels like a child's movie the entire time.
And also, it seems like not that it
Even
is
with the fucked up subject material too.
Yeah,
like somehow with slavery, the movie still.
yeah,
feels,
but it almost makes like slavery whimsical. Mm-hmm. Like it's like it's not.
it's
like,
okay
this
to
is
be
hard.
in debt.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
Scrub.
Chocolate.
We're here for 10,000 hours.
Problems.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Like, oh god, like I just don't. And it's almost like you're instead of like putting out this product and like watch it. I don't care, watch it or don't, whatever. This is what it is, and it doesn't matter if you watch it or not because I know I made a great movie.
Yeah.
And in this, it's like, please watch me.
Yeah,
It's like
totally.
desperate.
Totally, because like you were saying, if somehow this script or the story was about something different, I think I could have like gotten more into the movie, but because of,
You know what it is too? It's like if this was never made, I would feel exactly the same way about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah, nothing has
Nothing
changed.
has changed about
Nothing
that.
has changed.
It's like it doesn't add anything.
Actually, each time you're right. Each time they do this, I just kind of retcon or like push it aside that I saw these like
Yeah.
descriptive movies. Like I just hyper focus on the first film because
It's almost gets
standalone.
It's almost like Godfather 3 syndrome. Like
Yeah.
I almost refuse to
Oh,
believe
yeah,
it
like,
exists.
yeah, truly. It's like, yeah, 1971, they nailed it. It's a fucking perfect movie.
Yeah, it's
man.
great,
Like,
and he's the perfect guy to play it.
Yeah,
that
right.
it's like is he a monster? Is he fun? I don't know. He's a little of both.
and just to have that ability as an actor to like, with the same face, be able to be
Yeah,
both of those things.
exactly. Oh,
And-
it's very good.
And the singing's good. Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
man, like,
Gene Wilder's singing, but not really singing.
yeah,
Subtly singing.
and, so good.
Yes.
So good.
So
And this is not so good. There's parts of it that I like, and I like I said, I still find Chalamet like a fun actor, and like I'm glad he has musical range. And weirdly enough, I would like to see him and Hugh Jackman do some sort of musical thing because like they clearly have similar energy.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, but yeah, this movie really shouldn't exist.
it's okay. I mean, it was fine.
It's fine, but it serves
like
no
it
purpose.
doesn't. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, you're gonna watch this afterwards. Watch The Wire.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That being said, so what do you want to do next on this brilliant podcast?
God damn! I know we were bringing up a couple things. We didn't really come to a.
Well, the one idea that I had was since, I mean, was the you could do several iterations of it. Is Godzilla.
Godzilla. Ah, yes.
The original.
Yeah.
The original monster movie of monster movies.
Right.
And then
you thought Willy Wonka was a monster. Wait till you see this.
Then Godzilla, and then the Japanese film, and then the Matthew Broderick,
Gojira,
1996, 7, 8.
Yeah. Yeah, we could talk about that.
That one, and then the one with Bryan Cranston where they remade.
That's true. So
So
yeah,
we could do all of them.
we're gonna do all the Godzillas. Yeah, because I'd like to go through that progression.
Yeah.
Of Gojira.
Gojira.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I think that we got to break up whatever this was. Like,
Yeah.
this is good. This is the first
And
one.
we got some
2024.
other movies coming that,
yeah.
that we got the remakes of. I mean, Mean Girls we got coming. We got
Mean
Color
Girls, Color
Purple.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. That's the movie we were born to do.
After Godzilla, we should just do
Okay.
Pretend you didn't hear that.
That's we Can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the movie we were born
We
to.
were born
When does that
to-
movie come out?
Roadhouse, it's coming out. So, this is unfortunately a bit of a bummer for us. It's not coming to theaters. Amazon Prime got the rights, and it's going straight to streaming on Amazon Prime. I believe
Guess
it
who has
comes out.
Prime?
Yeah, exactly. Same. I believe it comes out next month. So,
Aces.
Aces high.
Anyway, so Aces high. Yeah. So
That was
please,
fun.
yeah, that was fun. Join us next time where we go over Godzilla.
Yep.
Godzilla. And then you can find us at Retroverse Remake. Wait, how will you say it? How do you say the actual Japanese word?
Oh, Gojira.
Gojira.
So
okay, I really wasn't trying to be.
No, I know,
racist. I
yeah,
know,
it-
I wasn't trying to be.
You just, yeah.
I was
got it.
Gojira. Okay.
Yeah, it's Gojirra. Gojira.
Okay, Gojira.
Which becomes Godzilla in
Yes, that's what I just want to be clear about that, guys. If anyone wants to write and be like, "This guy says," no, didn't mean to do it. I was just saying. Yeah, so you can find us at Retroverse Remake on Instagram, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever. You can find me at Dan Farley 18 on Instagram or at Jersey Dan 18 on X, and then Reggie Parker.
You can find me at RP Comedy, specifically on Threads. Threads by Meta.
Threads. You can find me on MySpace.
I'm on LiveJournal right now. Black Planet. Yeah, RP Comedy on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Yeah, Retroverse Remake, of course, on the Instagram. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube. It's a good time.
Find us on the street corners.
Hey, slinging that chocolate.
Slinging that chocolate.
It sounds weird when I say it.
That sexual chocolate.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
That was fun. Yeah, that was a thing.